Will you go, Andrew? I want to stay here and see what the Master does, replies Judas, pointing at the Master, who has bent down on the dusty road, has spat on the ground, and with his finger is mixing the dust with the spittle, forming a pellet of mud. While Andrew, who is always obliging, goes to get the blind man, who is about to turn into the narrow street where the house of Joseph of Sepharis is, Jesus spreads the mud on both forefingers and remains thus, with his hands raised, as priests hold them at Holy Mass, at the Gospel, or at the Epistle. Just a slight pause. That's referring to the traditional Latin Mass, which of course was the normative Mass at the time of Maria Valtorta. Judas withdraws from his place, saying to Matthew and Peter, "Since you're not very tall, come here and you will see better." And he stands at the back, almost concealed by the sons of Alphaeus and by Bartholomew, who are tall. Andrew comes back, holding by the hand the blind man, who is anxiously repeating, "I don't want money. Let me go. I know where the man named Jesus is, and I'm going to ask." "This is Jesus. He is here in front of you," says Andrew, stopping in front of the Master. Jesus, contrary to his usual habit, does not ask the man anything. He at once spreads the little mud, which he has on his forefingers, on the closed eyelids and says, "And now go, as quickly as you can, to the pool of Siloam, and do not stop to speak to anybody." The blind man, his face soiled with mud, remains perplexed for a moment and moves his lips to speak. He then closes them and obeys. His first steps are slow, as if he were pensive or disappointed. Then he quickens his pace, grazing the wall with his stick, walking faster and faster, as far as it is possible for a blind man, as if he felt being guided. The two men of Jerusalem laugh sarcastically, shaking their heads, and go away. Joseph of Arimathea, and this amazes me, follows them without even a word of greeting to the Master, retracing his steps, that is, going towards the temple, whilst he was coming from that direction. Thus, the blind man, the two men, and Joseph of Arimathea go towards the southern part of the town, while Jesus goes westwards, and I lose sight of him because the Lord wants me to follow the blind man and his followers. Just notice there how Maria Valtorta's visions are not under her control. She goes where our Lord wants her to go, and that dictates what we see when we read this work. After passing through Bezetha, they all enter the valley which lies between Moriah and Zion. I think that in the past I heard it being called Tyropoeon. They go along it as far as Ophel. They walk round it. They come out on the street leading to the Siloam pool, always in the following order. First, the blind man, who must be well known in that quarter of common people. Then the two men. Last, at some distance, Joseph of Arimathea. Joseph stops near a poor house, and he is half hidden by a box hedge that sticks out, surrounding the little kitchen garden of the poor house. The two men instead go near the pool and watch the blind man